Hey, what's up, guys? How y'all doing today? Well, baby, if you are Sean Diddy Combs, it looks like Dawn Richards is not done with you. On top of suing you, on top of what's going on with the Busby fiasco, which, by the way, we know we were gone, but baby, we're gonna be back on live today, giving blogging a good name. Make sure y'all hit your notifications, but forget all this. Dawn is back in the news, letting everybody know that, baby, I don't know where Diddy thinks he's going, because this is just the tip of the iceberg. She says there are hundreds more. Now, hear me out when I say this about there being hundreds more. How the heck can there be 100 more and Diddy was the only person involved? I'm gonna need everybody in Hollywood to stop acting scary. Everybody in the music industry to stop acting oblivious. Okay, right? Diddy was a one-man operation. Okay. Anyway, right? They said a lawyer representing an alleged victim of Sean Diddy Combs, that's Dawn Richards, told Sky News she believes the criminal case against him is just the tip of the iceberg, and there are hundreds more who may be too afraid to come forward. That might be why they out there bullying certain lawyers. Richards is one of dozens of people suing Diddy following his arrest in September. They said he's currently awaiting jail in New York. Y'all know that. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, literally. Here's what Lisa Bloom had to say. That's Dawn's lawyer. I think this is just the tip of the iceberg. What we're seeing right now, I think we're going to see a lot more accusers come forward. She said she has no doubt there are hundreds more people who have allegations of sexual assault, physical violence, threats, sex trafficking against Diddy, and here it comes, as well as people associated with them. However, she says many alleged victims may feel scared or unable to speak out or think they have no rights after signing the non-disclosure agreements. The criminal case against Diddy claims that with the help of some employees, he coerced and abused individuals for years and used blackmail and violence to silence them. On top of that, right, he's facing mounting civil cases, y'all know the Busby special, along with Wigdor and Tyrone Blackburn. Listen, let me get this straight, right? She alleges that during the show making of the band, Dawn says she and others were subjected to horrendous conditions. They weren't allowed to eat, they weren't allowed to sleep, and they were locked in places and not allowed to leave. She said they were subjected to all kinds of gender comments, calling them names and insulting. She alleges that she was groped and grabbed by Diddy, and she witnessed him physically assaulting other women, and that he restrained her, locked her into cars and other places, falsely imprisoned her, and it was just a really terrifying experience for her. Dawn tried to speak out on behalf of other women that Diddy was allegedly abusing in her presence, and she was threatened and felt very fearful. Now get this. Diddy's lawyer says, Yana, this is nothing but an attempt to rewrite history. They say there are false claims manufactured by a singer who has an album out and is trying to get a payday. Why would... These lawyers are going to stop playing in our face. What would anybody in the industry who's trying to get her album to get some motion and maybe get picked up, promoted, all this stuff, why would you go against what was at one time one of the most powerful people in the music industry? That doesn't even make sense. And who buys an album because they said they saw Diddy literally Diddy bopping, right? They also going to say that Yana, she had such a negative experience working with the rapper and producer while dating Diddy Kane. She would not have returned to work with him a second time in Diddy Dirty Money. Diddy is a gatekeeper of the industry. They've said that a million times. But let me just say this, right? Because it needs to be said. Diddy could not have done this alone. They're clearly hinting. And this goes to Diddy and his arrogance. And there's a lot of arrogance going around. Because if you know that even though, like, people said, okay, well, Dawn didn't get sex trafficked, Dawn didn't get raped, no, but Dawn witnessed a lot. And if Dawn witnessed all that, and if Dawn knew that she could sit there and corroborate the mess, you knew that Dawn could corroborate the mess Cassie was saying, the mess little Rob was saying, the mess that all these other victims are saying, she could corroborate it, right? She can say, no, I was there and this is how it happened and I remember the date and here's proof. Why don't you settle with Dawn? Why didn't you settle with Dawn? You could say, oh, because he's completely innocent. Okay, maybe that's all he says he is. The more days that pass, the more and more I think that's BS. But honestly, when it comes to Dawn, why did you just not settle? Because again, she is a brick that builds the wall that is going to hold you in jail forever. And Dawn is key witness, and she's a more reliable, better witness than Kalina. Because let's be real, we all saw Kalina's interview. Yeah, no, the eyes rolling, head knocking back. Listen, I've been tired too for an interview, but I don't know. It is what it is, right? Why didn't she just settle? Again, a lot of these things that's coming out in the Diddy case just don't make sense. The only thing that makes sense is that there are people at play with huge egos that think that they can do what they want to who they want, and nothing will ever stop them. Okay? Nothing will ever stop. Again, I know I keep harping on this, but y'all, it boggles my mind. That's like you robbing a bank, and you know people saw you rob the bank, and the only thing holding you to the bank robbery is the eyewitness account. And they come to you and they're like, yo, you stepped on my foot while you were robbing the bank. You're gonna have to pay and compensate me for that. And you turn around and say to them, I'm not giving you an MF thing if you don't get out my face. And then when they press suit against you and happen to mention it happened while he was robbing the bank, you sit there and you're like, well, surprise. No, this makes no sense. Again, Diddy's arrogance, Diddy's ego, and at the end of the day, ultimately, Diddy's cheapness did him in. Now get this. Dawn has spoken with officers from the U.S. Department of Justice. She believes there will be more criminal charges to come. We already have said that he's going to get an attempted murking charge, but we will see. She sat and answered questions. I assume other people probably have as well. So criminal charges could very well be forthcoming. I think there will be more civil suits. Sean Combs is the top of the pyramid. He's the one orchestrating everything. Forget this, but those who helped him also need to be brought to justice. We want to hold accountable anybody who's complicit, because to victimize people on this scale, when we're probably talking about hundreds of people, you can't do that alone. You have to have helpers, people who actually saw incidents of abuse, turned a blind eye to it, and continue funding these events where things happen. They should be held accountable, and we intend to do that in our case. She said she also expects other famous names to be brought up. She said people used to brag about going to Diddy parties. A lot of people were there. Maybe some of them didn't know what was happening, but surely many of them did. Being a celebrity does not mean that you're above the law, as I think some of them think. For now, the civil cases against Diddy are running concurrently to the criminal case against him. He was not, listen, Diddy hasn't asked for a stay, but with those superseding indictments, unless he plans to plead with the co-defendants, this is an entire mess for Diddy. And by that, I mean, we love to see it. But again, at the end of the day, as much as people are saying they didn't know, baby, the law is coming. We shall see what is what. Anyway, y'all, let me know what you think in the comments. I'll be live later to go over all the legal documents. Talk to you later. Bye.